A powerful storm has hit the southern Italy island of Sicily, bringing torrential rain, strong winds and widespread destruction. The storm which hit Italy Tuesday morning led to widespread flooding, especially in the city of Catania, where streets turned into rivers. Residents were forced to wade through the waist-deep water. The storm, which part wider weather system offering the Mediterranean region, to describe the meteorologists as one of the strongest in recent years. The island on a high alert as authorities want to fear the heavy rainfall and potential landslides. Local authorities are urged residents to stay at home and avoid necessary travel. Schools and businesses in several cities have been closed to pursue emergency services are working around the clock to respond to a growing number of calls to help, and rescue teams have been deployed to assist those trapped in their homes and vehicles. In addition to flooding, the storm caused significant damage to infrastructure. Roads were blocked by fallen trees and debris, and several bridges reportedly becoming unstoppable. Power outages have been affected, thousands of homes and telecommunication services have been disrupted in many areas. The situation is completely in the island refuge terrain will make it difficult to rescue teams to reach the most affected areas. The mayor of Catania, Trentino, called the situation catastrophic, noting that the city drainage system is overwhelmed with a huge amount of water. "This is an unprecedented event for us," said Mr. Trentino. "We are doing everything we can to ensure the safety of our citizens, but the situation is extremely difficult." The impact of the storm is also felt in other parts of the southern city, with a heavy rain and strong winds recorded in Calabria and Puglia region. The Italian government has pledged support the affected region, and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said the emergency force will be allocated to help with the recovery efforts. As the storm continues to move through the region, we are concerned about all intensity of the future. Weather warning remain in effect, and authorities are closely monitoring the situation. The public is advised to follow and use through the official channel to take precautions all necessary. Its latest about the extreme weather comes at a time when Italy, like much Europe, is grappling with the effects of climate change. Scientists warn that such events are likely to become frequent and severe in the coming years. This year, the country already experienced a number of extreme weather events, including record-breaking heat and wave and devastation forest fire. The response of the storm in Sicily have been a critical test in Italy emergency preparedness to resilience in the face of natural disaster. As the rescue operations continue and the full extent of the damage is released, they were likely to revenue calls to investment and infrastructure and disaster management to better protect vulnerable regions from affected on climate change. The storm that devastated Sicily this week was stark reminder of the island's vulnerability to extreme weather events, especially in the face of climate change. The island's location in the center of Mediterranean makes it particularly vulnerable to powerful storms that can quickly develop in destruction weather system. During this storm that raged in Sicily, they usually live in the city of Catania come to stand still. The historic center, known as Baracue, acted to suffering the most. The water level in some parts of the city rose so quickly that cars were submerged and apartments to the fused floor were flooded in a matter of minutes. Video shared on social media show images in chaos with residents getting to rooftops and balconies and floodwater slip over the streets. Local authorities were called to storm and hurricane, a term used to describe tropical cyclones in the Mediterranean. These systems are relatively rare, but they have become more frequent in recent years, and many experts attributed this trend to climate change. The warm weather of the Mediterranean can fuel this storm, then they intensify rainfall, strong winds, and in some cases, even tornadoes. In the coastal town of Acheriel, North Catania, the storm surge caused significant damage in the local marina. Several boats were turned off the morning and smashed against rocks, while others are carried out on the sea. Fishermen and the boat owner had to assess the damage after the storm subsides, and many experienced concern about the increasing frequency of such events. Sicily agriculture sector, which is critical to island economy, also suffered significant losses. Citrus fields, vineyards, and olive groves were flooded, and the farmers feel that a significant protection of years harassed by the loss. Regional authorities have already begun assessing the damage to crops with a call to with a compensation to help farmers recover from the disaster. The storm has also highlighted the island against infrastructure, with the struggling to cope well with the flooding. In many areas, drainage systems, some of which were built in early 20th century, were quickly overwhelmed to need the modernization. The system have been discussed for years, but the scale of the current disaster had brought it into sharp focus. There is now growing pressure to regional and national authority and to investment infrastructure updates to better without the future storms. Sicily agriculture sector, which is critical in the island economy, also suffered significant losses. Citrus fields, vineyards and olive groves were flooded, and farmers feel that significant portions of a year harvest may be lost. Regional authorities have already begun assessing the damage to crops and calling compensation to help farmers recover from the disaster. The Italian Department of Civil Protection to coordination in emergency response, working in close cooperation to local authority and volunteer organization. Shelters have been set up in school and community center of those who have forced to leave their homes due to the floods. Medical teams instead to provide assistance to those in need, especially in the elderly with a pre-existing health problem. As the immediate fear for the storm begins to recede, attention in turn into long-term recovery pieces. Drainage, damage to home, businesses and infrastructure. Its extended damage likely to some areas will a month and not yet will fully recover. The Italian government has pledged its full support, and the Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has promised to every effort to make to help an affected region recover. The storm also ignited to debate Italy's preparedness of such natural disaster, although the country has made significant strides to deal with natural disaster in recent years. Critics acquire the most need to done to mitigate the effect of extreme weather events, especially in vulnerable regions such as Sicily. This includes not only investing in infrastructure but also implementing more comprehensive disaster preparedness and response plans. In the wake of the storm, environmental groups have reunited their calls to more dispersed action to combat climate change. They urged to increasing frequency and severity such events and clear signs urged action to needed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to changing climate. The storm in Sicily, in a view, should be wake-up calls to policymakers in level of government. As Sicily grips with the aftermath of the devastation storms, wider implementation of the events are becoming increasingly apparent. The storm is not only highlighting the immediate challenges facing the island, but also emphasizing the need to long-term strategies to address the growing risk posed by the climate change. One of the most worrying aspects of the storm is its impact on Sicily's cultural heritage. The island is home to numerous UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the Valley of Templars in Agrigento and Incident 3 to Termina. While the full extent of the damage is still being there are the concern that some of these process still may suffer irreparable damage. The historic city of Sirte, the rich tributary of Greek and Roman history, has also forced advice with the conditions rising costs about the prevention of ancient monuments. Local authorities, the cultural heritage organization, are now working together to protect these sites for further damage and plan for their restoration. However, the task is complex. Preventing such historical monuments requires specialized knowledge and significant financial resources, and the region is already facing economic challenges. Despite necessary funding to fuse efforts will be difficult. The economic impact of the storm likely to profound and fear region. The Sicilian tourist industry, vital parts of the island economy, has been hit hard. The storm came and ended summer season when the island usually a large number of tourists. Many visitors were caught off guard by the sudden and severe weather, leading to massive cancellation and disruption. Hotels, restoration and other tourist-dependent businesses have reported significant losses, and they came concerned that the storm aftermath could be dealt to future visitors. Agriculture, another conservation of Sicily economy, facing a long and unusual recovery. Sicily is famous for its citrus fruits, olives and vines, which are exploited around the world. The flood not only destroyed its crops but also damaged the soil, which have been long-term conservation for agriculture productivity. Farmers are calling for urgent government intervention, including financial assistance and technical support, to help them recovery for the disaster adapt to changing climate conditions. The storm has also drawn attention to the problem and social inequality in Sicily. The island has one of the highest poverty rates in Italy, and many residents in the poor considered to poorer maintained homes. These vulnerable populations were disproportionately affected by the storm, and some of them their homes and possessions. Local authorities, already in difficult economic situation, use the first challenges of provide adequate support to those who have needed the most. Social services are in the tremendous pressure, and the fear on the most vulnerable on the left behind the recovery process. Environmental are using the storm aftermath to the push torrential measures to combat climate change to protect the environment. Sicily inquire ecosystem, including coastal wilds to mountain area. They increase into the risk from extreme weather events. These areas are not only important to biodiversity but also provide natural protection against flood and landslides. There is a growing concept that conservation, restoration and natural areas should take content of islands' long-term resilience strategies.